Okay, so superhero movies are stupid. And I'm not saying that as somebody who hates superhero movies. I love them. I was there in the cinema at the final scene of Endgame where Captain America is standing 10 toes down and the Falcon is like on your left. Steve Rogers, guys. Nobody was doing it like this. Doctor Strange had the whole gang pulling up like a noble phantasm. You aren't Gilgamesh. But this was clean. I won't lie to you. We need superhero movies. All of that can be true. And superhero movies can still be stupid. So let me give you a couple reasons why you should agree. First and foremost, who pays superheroes? Because why is Clark Kent on a journalist's salary? And don't say it's because, oh, nobody knows that he's Superman. Superman never hid his identity once. This brother would be outside on the news in his superhero suit, face out. You're telling me you don't know who this is? People are really looking at Superman dead in his eyes, wondering, who is that? I need to know, what was the hiring criteria over at Daily Planet? Because these people were generationally slow. You're telling me that Superman, Clark Kent's colleagues, are sitting around the lunch table like, you know what? Clark really looks like that superhero alien thing that saves the world all the time. Yeah, he has a similar build and he's around the same height. Plus, they look eerily similar. Could it be? Nah. Stupid! You're telling me that these glasses right here have duped the whole world. Government agencies tripped up over a pair of glasses. Superman wears no mask. What do you mean? You guys know who this is. I have a theory, and that theory is they all act like they don't know Superman is Clark Kent, so they don't have to compensate him for all of his hard work. They all pretend to be confused. If he was walking around wearing a mask like Batman, I would get it, but he doesn't. You could be for real. Be for real. These glasses right here have to be the strongest device in the DC universe. Superheroes across the board don't have bread like that. Spider-Man is living paycheck to paycheck in some iterations. He's out here suiting up to protect the neighborhood. The neighborhood don't love you, bro. They should have set up some kind of fund for Spider-Man. You might be wondering, how would he collect his money? I don't know. Get him in his suit, have him swing his ass over there. That's enough ID for me. Spider-Man was out here doing stuff like this for free. Oh, but with more power comes more responsibility. Spider-Man should do it for the love of the game. Okay, well, in a real life setting, when you have more responsibility, what does that come with? More money. The CEO has the most responsibility and they earn the most money. So what now? Spider-Man was out there getting jumped for free. This is beyond manual labor work. The Avengers would be out here fighting otherworldly beings and all they'd get is some attaboys and high fives. No, run me my money. Because what would happen if the superheroes decided to go on strike? What if they fucking unionized? Who's gonna stop people like this? The police? Hell no! My main issue with superhero movies is superhero movie Henchmen. Why is their common sense stat at 0 and their bravery stat maxed the hell out? Superhero movie Henchmen do things that are insane. The henchmen in these movies have no regard for their own life. They are 10 toes down in every situation. No matter who or what is in front of them, they're pulling up. Let me give you an example. In the Avengers movie Age of Ultron, the movie starts out with the Avengers fighting Hydra. But they're not fighting Hydra bosses, they're fighting a whole bunch of Hydra foot soldiers. The Avengers pull up squad deep. Here we have Thor. This guy is a literal god, by the way. He kicks this nigga 15 feet away. This was just a little front kick with no swing, and your boy went flying. So why is your dumb ass stepping to him next after seeing that? Remember, Thor is a god. God of Thunder. This guy got packed up in a fraction of a second. No, honestly, I'm genuinely annoyed with this guy because there's no way you don't know who Thor is. You know who Thor is. You surely know what he's capable of. In fact, let me give you a list of his feats. Thor has arm wrestled Hercules to a draw, causing the area to collapse and shifting the planet out of orbit. Lifted the Midgard serpent, which is said to be half or just as heavy as the planet Earth itself. Resisted The gravimetric pressure equal to that of a neutron star. I looked up how much a neutron star weighs, and apparently they weigh 1.4 to 2 times heavier than the sun. And you think you can contend with something that's capable of that? The scene that really pissed me off is this one right here. It's gonna go quickly, so you need to lock in. Did you see that? Why on God's green earth have you just jumped on the Hulk's back? No, let's be serious and think about this. Literally, 3 seconds prior, the Hulk is carrying a military vehicle. What were you trying to do by jumping on his back? Were you trying to put the Incredible Hulk in a full Nelson? What is going through your head? The audacity, the temerity. Bro, you're definitely not that guy. I would take you through the Hulk's feats, but we know what the Hulk is. What could they possibly be paying this guy for him to be doing something like this? This level of dedication is insane. Honestly, superhero movie henchmen have no fear, and you have to respect it. You've just watched one of your colleagues get kicked halfway across the map and you still squared up. Bro, you're like that. You are beyond ride or die, because a hero like Batman will be out here dropping insane combos you've never seen before on these henchmen, and then another guy will just run up on him. And at that point, it's like shame on Batman, because he's clearly beating up people who aren't all there in the head. Speaking of Batman, why are so many superheroes orphans? You get powers today and your parents die tomorrow. That's some bullshit. The list of superheroes whose parents aren't with us anymore is actually insane. Superman's parents, dead. Spider-Man's parents, dead. Batman, dead. Iron Man, dead. Nightwing, dead. Red Robin, dead. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Falcon, Storm, Shazam, Iron Fist, and I'm certain that the list goes on and on. You're telling me that you can't be a superhero and have parents? Huh? The damages. Who is paying for all of the damages? If I lived in the MCU, the last thing I'd want to see coming is the Avengers, because they leave devastation everywhere they go. The Hulk pulls up and he's about to fight this kaiju looking motherfucker. You're in your window looking out. You see these two beings approach each other. All of a sudden, the Hulk looks to his right. What is the Hulk looking at? Your brand new car. Your brand new washed car that you saved all your money to get. What does the Hulk do with your car? He picks it up, smashes it into a ball, and throws it at his opponent. Do you understand how tight you would be? In that scenario, what can you even tell your insurance company? Can you imagine living in a world where you'd need to have insurance for accidental superhero damages to your possessions? Low-key, that might be why superheroes don't get paid, because the city has to pay out insane amounts to fix all of the nonsense they do when they work. It's coming out of their paycheck. I know for a fact that the taxes on the MCU Earth are nasty. When the Avengers are out here just dismantling infrastructure, who is paying for that? It's coming out of the taxpayer's pocket. I'm actually surprised that we haven't had a movie drop where it's just civilians protesting against superheroes. Somebody has to take responsibility for this. You know the scene where Iron Man has to subdue the Hulk and he just smashes him through a building that's being built? Bro, this isn't a playground. Tony Stark better have written a check to the city, because you can't just be doing this. Oh wait, he bought that. He bought that building, didn't he? He did buy it. Tony Stark's not an idiot, to be fair. Did he buy the building? Am I remembering that correctly? Let me know in the comments. One of my major gripes with superhero movies is the villains. The final villain in particular. I'll use the MCU again. We go through movie after movie after movie after movie to see this nigga. At the end of the day, all of this is about him. Thanos wants the Infinity Stones, but he wants to go through some roundabout way of getting them. He goes through failure after failure after failure to obtain these stones. Then he wants to talk all big, like, fine, I'll do it myself. Bro, you should have just pulled up to begin with. Big man, you've been sitting on your ass for years watching your subordinates fail, and now you think it's time for the manager to come up to the front. What makes the Thanos situation more annoying in particular is when he decides to show up, doesn't he get all of the Infinity Stones and booms the universe in like a movie and a half? He achieves his goal in like 3 months in universe time, I think, maybe less. So Thanos had the power the whole time to end this whole saga almost instantly. Did you see how he did the Hulk? Thanos genuinely wasn't trying to achieve his goal for real, because he could have ended this In a fraction of a second, really. Thanos spent a decade procrastinating, decided to lock in at the last minute, and I'm supposed to respect that? No! That begs the question. What kind of superhero would you be? You find out you have powers today. Are you immediately going out and trying to save the world tomorrow? Me personally, I try to save the world, but I'm not doing anything outside of my own interest. I'd be super, no hero. I'd call myself Captain Capitalism. There could be a planet-destroying meteor heading towards Earth. I have the power to stop it, but I'd be out there negotiating. So how much are you guys trying to pay me to save the world? And I want it in writing. I'll have my lawyer present too. Especially if I was the only person on the planet with superpowers, I would want 10 mil per excursion. In fact, I want a salary because the Celtics are paying Jaylen Brown 300 mil over 5 years just to play basketball. How much do you think someone with the power to save the world should get paid? Come on now. If you're upset by that, what? Do you expect superheroes to do superhero things forever? Spider-Man has no pension, no retirement plans. Imagine your granddad was Spider-Man, but you know, when this man passes, you're going to inherit nothing because he decided to save the neighborhood instead of getting a real job. How are you a full-time superhero and not financially free? Everybody who ever gets superpowers in fiction either uses them for good or evil. I'd love a story where somebody gets superpowers and uses them for normal things. Imagine somebody wakes up one morning with super strength and they use it just to become the greatest athlete in any sport they choose. Nobody would know that you have a superpower. They just think you're a generational athlete and you'd be able to make money. Shohei Ohtani, look at the contract. Floyd Mayweather became a billionaire off boxing, and as far as I'm aware, he has no superpowers. If you had super strength, you could walk into a boxing ring, use like 3% of your power, and just sleep everybody in a second. You're knocking out everyone. In that scenario, if you had super strength, you can decide when the fight ends. That's what I would do if I had powers, something productive. So would most of you watching, don't lie to me. But yeah, that's why I believe superhero movies are a little bit stupid. I do like superhero movies the way they are, but if they just added another little layer of sense, I think it would tie everything together. But maybe superhero movies are so great because they lack a bit of sense. You know what I mean? That's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time I upload. Fine, I'll do it myself. Bro, you should have been out here already. Why are you... Where was he? Where was Thanos the whole time? What was he doing?